Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. I've got Larry with me today, and we're going to be talking about how internal politics potentially impact your digital transformation. But before we get into the questions that I've got for you, can you give everybody an introduction?
Great. Happy to do so. Emma, thanks for having me back. It's a pleasure to be a repeat here. Love talking about this topic. So my name is Larry Wilson. I am currently at Splunk. I've been here for 6.5 years. I've spent my entire career in the technology space and have been able to work with some fantastic partners and some fantastic customers that have really led some of these initiatives. And they're all very challenging. It's a big task to undertake a digital transformation, and there's a lot of different pieces that play into that. So I look forward to sharing what I've learned, what I've seen, and some of the exciting stuff that's going on that maybe can help some of the people listening today.
So before we dive into kind of how different dynamics within an organization might present a challenge, can you share what your kind of thoughts are on the ultimate vision of digital transformation?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. And I think digital transformation is certainly very exciting and something that every company is looking at. And it will be a key driver for the next decade, I think, across many industries. And it's already started, obviously, in some industries already. But digital transformation is really about putting data to work. Over the last decade, right, we've discovered that the machine data and the information that we can gather from all these different technologies and all these different devices can actually help paint a picture of what's going on in our organization. And so stitching that information together allows us to, make better decisions, make quicker decisions, and actually allows the compute power of today to actually drive decisions and innovation by just showing things that we as humans may not even be able to see the patterns of what's going on. So, digital transformation is exactly what it says, right? It's taking your legacy systems and it's taking those environments and digitizing them to take advantage of that data. And why do people want to take advantage of that data? And that data is really about getting to some of the key, exciting, innovative areas around artificial intelligence or machine learning, helping to find pattern recognition in a variety of different things. Those are, with the amount of data that is available to us, it needs to be evaluated. It needs to be reviewed. It needs to be under the advisement of a system that can tell you what's going on in your organization and help you optimize your organization, help you optimize tasks, help you better secure your organization. But it really starts with this concept of getting data in. And so digital transformation at its heart is making sure that, again, the parts of the organization that you're looking are digitized. Not an easy task, but then pulling that data into some type of environment where you can actually then put it to use and turn it into actionable insights. That's something that we like to say at Splunk, but that is the key of what I think is driving digital transformation and will continue to drive digital transformation for the next decade.
So going back to that teaser that I had at the beginning, then, knowing what our ultimate goal is, how do interpersonal or internal politics in an organization really start to affect this vision or potentially put up roadblocks for companies going through transformation?
Well, it's really pretty straightforward, right? Because it's all about kind of silos and different objectives. And how do you get different parts of the organization to get themselves digitized? That's the first step. And then B, share that information across where you can actually look at things and look at your environment across a full range. So, digital, I think one of the key drivers and one of the most important things is having a key champion at a senior enough level who can help drive and help people understand and contribute the right types of data and the right types of information, and get them to understand what the return of that effort is going to be, because it's outside of the norm of what they're being tasked to normally do in some cases. And so you're adding kind of an extra layer, and and making sure they understand what that layer does and how it contributes to the overall success of the company, perhaps even greater than just that person or that silo's input, is going to be is very, very key to getting the initiative even moving forward.
So what suggestions do you have for people on how to kind of navigate or break down some of those silos in order to make sure that they're successful?
I think obviously it starts with a vision and with very clear communications of what you're going to do. I see a lot of, internal, quote unquote campaigns, right? This is our campaign. We're going to make ourselves a safer organization, or we're going to make ourselves a more productive organization. And that becomes kind of a theme, and it's driven by a specific team or a specific group, with a lot of updates and activities. I think the biggest challenge that most digital transformation initiatives have is time to seeing value. Just the amount of effort. And if you try to take on something too big, and it takes too long, then you're going to lose the audience and you're going to lose the opportunity. And by the time you get there to the end, people are going to question, why are we going to continue this? And so I think, the really good leaders and the people who are driving these successfully are looking at little steps, right? What's the first thing we want to do, and what's the next thing we want to do, and how do we continue to show that we are, progressing through this in a valuable way to all the stakeholders.
Thank you so much for taking some time to chat through this with me, Larry. And for anybody that isn't already, make your way over to his LinkedIn profile, give him a follow, or reach out to either one of us if you've got any questions. But thank you so much, and have a wonderful day.
Thanks, Emma.
If you're looking for expert tips on how to get started with your transformation, or looking to hone in on your approach, make sure that you subscribe to our channel to catch our weekly Digital Transformation Talk series, where we interview experts from around the world on how to make it happen.